It's time to go back to 1985. Get in the Delorean, Marty!
Great Scott! What's going on, friends? I'm Henry Hill, and I'm here with my mate, Logan Myers.
Also known as Logan McFly.
Oh, Marty! Great Scott!
So you're telling me, Doc?
Terrible impression.
Yeah, terrible. But tonight we're going back to 1985, the year I was born, and one of the greatest films and greatest franchises of all time, Back to the Future, the OG.
The original, the one that kicked off the beloved franchise and gave star to Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
And Christopher Lloyd, Crispin Glover. A talented cast and a great filmmaker, Robert Zemeckis, put the film together. Even after all these years, the effects still look, I mean, they're obviously dated, but they still look good. Like,
I think so.
Yeah, they look better than a lot of movies. And the movie holds up. It's still a timeless classic tale. Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox was a great Marty, and it's kind of interesting because Eric Stoltz was supposed to be the original Marty McFly. Yeah. What did you think about that?
I saw the clips of Eric Stoltz and the character. It's so like, it's off. It doesn't feel, natural. Yeah. And then Michael J. Fox hops into the role and he fucking sells it. One of the best performances of his career, playing Marty McFly. He was blowing up back in the 80s. Teen Wolf, another one of my favorite films from the 80s. He was in a bunch of stuff. He was in that sitcom, I can't think
Family
of it.
Ties.
Family Ties back in the day. So he was a very busy man, really great actor. And Back to the Future, the OG, the best in the series, in my opinion. Set up, we have Marty McFly heads over to Doc Brown's place in the beginning of the movie. I love the intro of this film where he has the amp, hits it,
classic scene in the
beginning. He strums a guitar and it fucking blows up, and then
throws him backwards.
And then he's like, oh shit, late for school, and he takes off on the skateboard. And I love the intro and the power of love. Obviously, Huey Lewis in the News theme song from the movie. It's really fantastic. Really great intro to the movie as well.
Yeah, it really gets you into it from the opening, just the whole credit scene.
Yep.
With Huey Lewis, the music just makes it all...
It gets you pumped up, I guess.
Pumped up for the film.
Yeah, and I love all the clocks in there, and it's just really cool setup of his friend Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, the old scientist.
And he's an inventor. I don't know, they kind of give hint that maybe he had his heyday before. He's kind of over the hill now, but he has all these awesome inventions at his house, like the food dispenser for the dog.
Yes, the dog, yep.
Yeah, so
really smart dude, but everybody looks at him as, being a crazy old guy, but he's, brilliant, smart, really great inventor, and then invents the, DeLorean. They travel back in time to basically 1955, 30 years prior, and the setup of the film is them, going back in time and, coming across his parents, played by Crispin Glover, Leah Thompson playing his mom. They're all young, and, and the story tries to get them together.
Tries to bring them together because they don't really like each other at first.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover is Marty's dad.
George.
He's real awkward and
a geek.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to bring them together, so it's kind of cool to see how the story unfolds and how he's able to change what happened in the past somewhat without making a new future, without messing up the timeline, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very inventive how they did the whole time travel. It's mentioned that they needed plutonium, so there's a scene in the beginning where you first see the DeLorean.
Yep. At the mall.
Yeah, at the mall. Some terrorists come there and they're trying to get their plutonium back.
Yep.
And there's like a chase scene, and that's when they go back to time initially, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, the scenes with the parents being younger, Leah Thompson's really fantastic in this movie, playing Lorraine. And she has, a crush on Marty when he comes across her. Like, oh my God, it's my mom.
Yeah.
And she's checking out his underwear. Calvin Klein. They're having that really awkward, dinner scene, and they're all talking. Hey, I've seen this one before. I've seen it. It's live. Like, how have you seen it? So it's a lot of cool scenes like that. Him being from 1985, going back to the 50s. So really great setup, really great premise. Honestly, that's why it's one of the greatest films ever made, cinematic history. Just really original. The effects, are spotty at times, but very innovative. back in 1985, you know, flying with the DeLorean and taking off, and it looked cool. And being a young kid watching this, it took you to another place, you know. It felt like you were in the DeLorean going back in time, and just a timeless classic.
Yeah, for sure. This has been one of my favorite films since childhood, and it carries on to today. I love the movie. The sequels aren't as good, but I still enjoy the whole franchise as a whole, especially this first movie. It really sells you. You care about the characters. It's smart. The writing's like top notch. The costumes, the effects, the look of the film, everything was like top notch. Pretty great summer blockbuster.
Yep.
So yeah.
Robert Zemeckis is the man. And yeah, I just love the cast, the music, the fashion, the 80s pop culture. You know, Marty being a guitarist and, you know, playing music, and having Huey Lewis in the film. They're trying out for the Battle of the Bands or whatever.
That was a cool
That's too darn loud, you know.
Too darn loud.
And then, you know, Marty goes back in the 50s and playing. You know, it's just really fantastic with the band, and, you know, kind of going back and forth, you know, 80s to the 50s. I thought the set pieces look beautiful of everything with, like, the clock and the overall town, and keeping the 1950s feel with the music, costume design. They all look like, you know, back in the 50s. Two different times, but they really mix well together, very cohesive, starting the film in the 80s and going back to the 50s.
It could have been a very, you know, hard thing to make that whole alternating timelines like work and gel together, and they do a really great job from going back and forth to different time periods and keeping everything, you know, making everything have sense still and keeping the story tight. And yeah, it's top notch. It's cool to see all the like old 50s cars in the street.
Yeah, the old diners and stuff like that.
You can kind of tell that it's on a lot, like with the buildings and stuff, but still it looks cool.
It looks like a set, yeah. So we can't talk, you know, Back to the Future without bringing up Biff.
Biff.
Hey, butthead.
Hey, butthead.
He was like the ultimate villain back in the 80s, you know. He really sold this character. I've seen interviews with Thomas F. Wilson in real life. He seems super cool, laid-back guy, not like the character. But he's an intricate part of the, you know, Back to the Future films, of getting the almanac and changing and being a millionaire in part 2. And it's really, you know, unique and original. I love how they threw his character in, being the asshole villain guy, but gets his hands on the almanac.
Yeah, he's definitely a classic nemesis to Marty McFly throughout the whole thing. And he's always involved in messing up everything. You know, whenever there's something happening in the film, it usually has something to do with Biff.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned in the second one, his character moves on, and like you get to see him in the future, and he's kind of like a Donald Trump, really. He's like,
yeah, he looks like Donald
Trump. Has his own penthouse and dresses real gaudy.
He's a total asshole, and he's married to the mom.
Yeah, in this timeline, he's married to Lorraine, so it like changes everything. But,
yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good job, and when it shows him in the 50s, he has like a crew cut and everything. And that's his classic line, butthead. Yeah,
and he looks like the cliche, you know, bully back in the 50s, had like the rolled up sleeves and the jeans and the
make like a tree and leave.
Yeah, and I forgot Billy Zane is in this. He was like one of Biff's friends and some other actors. The guy with the 3D glasses on. You know, they're in the other films, but they're really great in this. All the, you know, asshole group of friends that are always picking on George, and Marty comes in. Nobody calls me chicken.
Yeah, it's cool that diner kind of plays a big part in, I think, all three of them. Maybe not the third one, but 1 and 2, the diner.
Yep.
So that's cool seeing that like in the 80s, the 50s, and into the 2000s for the second.
And the guy that works there becomes the mayor.
That's right, Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Yep. That's funny. He's like, should become mayor one day. He's like sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
But yeah, all around great, fantastic film, timeless classic. It holds up all these years later, 35 years later. Came out in 1985, really great pop culture references, great characters, really great character development story, time travel, introducing the DeLorean. And
the DeLorean was so cutting edge, and it's so iconic, just the look of it. It's actually, the cars made a comeback, people collect them now.
Yeah, I would like to have one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And, you know, obviously Doc Brown and Marty McFly selling these performances, one of the greatest, you know, duos in movie history as well, and I love them in part 2 as well. But overall, just a really fantastic movie. We absolutely love Back to the Future from 1985, directed by Robert Zemeckis. A movie you can always watch, you know, if you're in a bad mood, and put that in, put you in a good mood, and just a really great feel to it and vibe to it, and a movie that If you've not seen it, you should definitely check it out. We highly recommend it.
So we are going to give Back to the Future a perfect 5 out of 5 DeLorean hair pieces. Great shot!
Marty! So I want to hear what you guys think of the film Back to the Future, the original from 1985. What do you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What do you guys think of the sequels? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Great Scott! Marty! This is Logan Myers
And Henry Hill.
signing out from Hill Valley until the next retro movie review. Cheers!